All right, folks, here we go. We are back with a regular lesson. Today we're going to be talking about something in math terms called translations. Our essential question today is, how can I use the coordinate plane to assist me when translating figures? So you will need to use that little graph paper, or kind of take note of that as we're going through it if you can't print it off yourself, that I put on Google Classroom to aid you in our activity here today. So a couple of things though before we get too far here is we need to define a couple of ideas. All right, so translations, the idea of this simple idea is the first part in a series of parts of what we call transformations. All right, so transformations are operations that move a figure. So we're going to be talking about how we can mathematically move figures through a series of different things. Our first thing is going to be a translation. Hopefully you've heard of this transformations term before or seen many of the movies. I think I only saw 1 through 3. I think the third one they were in Chicago. I think they made one after that, and I really wasn't into it. Now, we have a couple of other things that we want to define. So let's just define translations in general, what we're going to be doing. This is where we're going to slide a figure from one position to the next without turning it or altering its shape. All right, so we're going to take a figure that's going to be on our coordinate plane, and we're going to be just sliding them all over the place. All right, using specific mathematical terms. A couple of other things just to take note of here. We have something called a pre-image. A pre-image is our original geometric figure. So whatever we started off with, that's our pre-image. And then we have something called the image. And that's just the newest figure. All right, so we'll talk about how we get these different things here, all right? So let's get into it here and let's start practicing translating. All right, so we got an example here. We're gonna have triangle ABC. Point A is gonna be at -3, 4. Point B is going to be at 1, 3. And point C is going to be at -4, 1. All right, so let's take our graph page, wherever that might be, wherever that looks like for you. And let's put these 3 points on there to create a triangle. We have A, we have B, left 4 up 1, we have C. All right, important to label our points so we know exactly which one is which. All right, so we're going to take this image here and we're going to slide it just like the definition says. We're going to slide it from one position to the next without turning it or altering its shape. So it's always going to be like facing this direction. What I want you to do is I want us to translate this figure 2 units right, or 2 boxes right, and 5 down. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start at this point for A. I'm going to go 2 to the right, 1, 2, and I'm going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll put a dot. I'll put an A. For B, 2 to the right, 1, 2, down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's B. Then we have C, 2 to the right, 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll put C. I'll connect my dots. I should have the exact same shape. This was our pre-image. That's what we started with. This is our new image. Besides me writing it in two different colored inks, I wouldn't really know which one would be the pre or which one would be the image if I didn't include something called these. These are called primes. If they don't have the prime, that's the pre. If they do have the prime, that's the new. Okay, and I could do it again and then add like double prime and triple prime, just depending on however many moves I make. All right, so that's what I can do if I have a graph. Now, if you don't have a graph, we can definitely we can definitely work with this information to find these new points, because this new point is -1, -1. This one is 3, -2. This one is -2, -5. All right, so there's another way we can do that without graphing. So let's go to example 2. Example 2 is this, but before we get to that, our movie quote for today is negative Ghost Rider, the pattern is full. All right, hopefully you know what movie that is. If not, you can look it up, and it's one of my favorites. All right, so let's do something we call this translation notation, so I don't have to have a graph to be able to complete it. So we have triangle DEF. All right. So let's say D is at 4, -3, E is at 0, 2, and F is at 5, 1. All right, and we're going to take our ordered pairs, X, Y, so our X's and our Y's, and our translation notation is this: X minus 4, Y plus 3. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take all my X's, I'm going to subtract 4, I'm going to take all my Y's and add 3. And that's going to give me my newest point, my image, or my new image. This is my pre-image. All right, so what I do is I just come over here. All right, I just go, my X is 4, so I go 4 minus 4. For E, my X is 0, so I go 0 minus 4. For F, my X is 5, so I go 5 minus 4. My Y's, my Y is -3, so I go -3 plus 3. So I got 2 for this second Y, so that's for E, so 2 plus 3. And then 1 plus 3 for my F. Ooh, I need my 1 in there. All right, and that's going to give me my D prime, my E prime, and my F prime. All right, so 4 minus 4 is 0. -3 plus 3 is, 0, 0. Whoops. Darn table, I think. No, I got a staple in there. 0 minus 4 is -4. 2 plus 3 is, I forgot my little parentheses there. 2 plus 3 is 5, so -4, 5. 5 minus 4 is 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. All right, so that's another way in which I can find all of these points. It'd be nice to be able to do both of them, but if I don't have materials to create a graph, or, it seems like you're probably smarter than me. You'll be able to figure out ways you could use a computer and PDFs and alter them to make them work. But if you don't have that, you can always use this thing called translation notation. All right, so now what you have to do is you have to go into your textbook. Hopefully you brought home volume 2 like you're supposed to. Back on, well, I guess as about a month ago, that Friday. So hopefully you brought it home, and there's going to be something specific about page 457 in your textbook that you need to answer on Google Classroom. If you don't have your textbook, don't worry. Go into your email, go into your Google Apps, and scroll down and find your McGraw-Hill app. And then that way you can go ahead and search and find your actual textbook on page 457. I've showed you how to do that earlier in the year, but if you need to, go into your Google email, go to Google Apps, find McGraw-Hill. All right? If you have questions, you know where to find me. Peace.